unlawful, even downright unconstitutional. But I do think he has the upper legal hand here. Under Title 10, the president can federalize the National Guard under one of three circumstances. There's a foreign invasion, and arguably people think that there's an invasion. I'm not necessarily sure that we've met that standard. But the second is if there's a rebellion against the authority of the United States. I think that's certainly possible. You have these agents that are trying to execute federal law. Or the third is if the president is unable to execute the law with the resources that he currently has. And I'm talking about federal agents and officers. And I think it's pretty clear that the Trump administration can satisfy that third prong at least. And if so, under Title 10, the president can take over the National Guard, even though typically the Guard is under the authority of the California governor or state governor for that matter under Title 32. So that's why Judge Breyer, in this case, who happens to be former Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer's younger brother, I think that's why he denied the temporary restraining order. Now, he still put it on for hearing for a injunction, but I don't think the state of California, whether it's Governor Newsom or Attorney General Rob Bonta, can meet that legal standard. I think Trump will likely win here. I can't imagine a judge stopping the federal government from enforcing federal law, no matter how unpopular it is.
All right, very good. And Neama, my last question before I let you go, because circulating on social media, we saw the confrontation between Senator Alex Padilla at this news conference earlier on today. Is there any legal recourse? Is there anything that can come from that volatile moment inside a press conference? The senator there escorted out forcibly by Secret Service members for Kristi Noem. Any legal recourse, anything legally that you're looking into there?
There's potential legal fallout, and let's talk about it on both sides. Before we do, I have to say that, I know Senator Padilla. I've, conducted fundraisers for him. So if people think I'm biased, I just want to sort of put that bias out there. But, he is a sitting U.S. senator, and he is conducting congressional oversight duties. Now, DHS is saying that he didn't identify himself, and he lunged at the secretary, which is why they had to protect her. Now, obviously, I don't know. I'd have to look at the video. So the question is it possible that he gets charged with something criminally, like an attempted assault? Certainly theoretically possible. I think it's highly, highly unlikely that that's going to happen. He was cuffed and then released. Now, could he potentially file some sort of civil lawsuit, some allegation that his constitutional rights were violated, that his First Amendment right to be present, his rights as a sitting senator? Possibly. Again, I think it's highly unlikely we see civil litigation on his part or any charges. What we'll probably see, though, is the extent that he can do so as a member of the minority party, congressional hearings, right? I expect the secretary to face some very tough questions the next time she's on Capitol Hill as to this specific incident. But as far as lawsuits, much as I would love it as a former prosecutor and current civil plaintiff's attorney, I don't think we're going to see it here.
All right, I just wanted to ask you about that. I want to ask you because it's interesting because it's a member of the cabinet. It is the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, and then Senator Alex Padilla. Do any of those parties have special protections in terms of their place within the government? Is there anything protecting either side?
They do. They have Secret Service protection. And, I was actually hired by, right out of law school by former DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. So, obviously, he was the source of impeachment proceedings, but this is a very important position. Obviously, when you're talking about immigration and securing our border, people have very strong, they do have protection. And obviously, if indeed Senator Padilla didn't identify himself and, the Secretary's security didn't know who he was and he was making a threatening gesture, I'm not justifying what happened. I think today is terrible. It's really a black eye for American democracy when you have sitting members of Congress who are placed in handcuffs. I mean, this should not have happened on either side, but their job is to protect the secretary. So if they viewed it as a legitimate threat, I understand why they did what they did, but it is really sad and really an indictment of how divided this country is when we're seeing videos and still pictures of what happened today. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, it's still a very dynamic moment right now that's unfolding in real time. Neama Rahmani, I just want to get your thoughts. Thank you so much for breaking it all down here on Live Now.
Thanks for having me, Andy. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. All right, great conversation there about a wide variety of topics, including the incident there between Senator Alex Padilla being forcibly removed and temporarily detained in this incident at that news conference. This is the most recent update from Matt Finn on the ground there, saying the FBI